Well, it's time to start cleaning this thing up. I've got a lot of rust and bad paint, dirt, mud, everything on this, and I need to clean that all up and then prime it. So I went down to Harbor Freight. Supposed to have a special on these pressure washers. Supposed to be 1,700 pounds. Supposed to have been on sale for 70, but it wasn't. It was 100, so I bought it anyway. And I'll cut this thing open, hook it up, and see what I can do about cleaning up some of this. I've got the front and the transmission. The whole front end's all covered with mud. They painted right over the mud. Hopefully this thing will have enough power to take off some of this dirt, and it might strip paint a little bit too. But I need to clean this all up so I can get that inner panel welded. So we'll unbox it and see what it looks like. Well, it was really straightforward. 4 screws hold the handle on. Snap connectors. I put water in it. It ran for a couple seconds. Looks like it's making a pretty good deal. See if I can find something else that needs cleaning. Here's the rear pan. I cleaned that one up over there. Turned out real nice. I got it backed out here. Pretty heavy dirt all the way across. We'll see what Mr. Washer does to it. Looks like it works pretty good. I'm going to do both hands here. Pretty good job. When you get it real close there, it's a high pressure stream. You can kind of see the stripes in it, but it's blowing off paint and pretty much cleaned up everything. I need to sand this anyway, but it did take off quite a bit of stuff, and it blew out all the rust. It did actually a pretty good job for what I wanted it to do. And if you work on a spot a little bit with that high pressure, it cuts through it. I can put hot water out here, and of course hot water and soap will probably cut it a lot better. But I got all of the fender and everything, and I hit this, took off the rust and loose paint real good. So for $100, it was a pretty good investment, I think. Now I started working on this. I've got it made a pretty big weld in there. and I tacked it along the top there. So this should be the inside of my trunk drop off. Now I need to put my fender piece up there and see how close I am to lining on the bottom. I had marked it before, so it should be pretty close. And it's a kind of a mess, and I'm not done welding it by any means, but it's a good solid piece. Now I just have to see what I can get in the way of hooking this outside fender up. Well, I got them cut out, and my two patches, the big one and the little one, they fit together well. They're matching up there on the fender. I got a nice straight line. I test fit them together. They're all looking good. I think I ought to do something about this trunk drop off here before I get carried away and weld up that fender. I don't know if I'll just weld a patch right over the top of that. It looks like it's kind of been caved in a little, and I need to weld these up here somehow. But the fender's ready to go on. I just need to finish up the rest of this. I'll weld a patch in. I don't know if that's supposed to be curved down a little, or if it's just been caved in. I think it's probably caved in. Somebody probably threw something heavy in it and it was already rusty. Well, I'll pull all this junk out of here and see what kind of a patch I can put in it. Here's my patch piece all welded up. I just realized I broke the lens over the top of my camera, so it's pretty bad. But here's this piece is all in good. It's all hammered down into the groove pretty much. Yeah, it's terrible. Broke my lens. Well, my little camera lens is cracked, so I'm trying to show you what I did here while I wait for a new cover. But I cut out this brace, stamped brace, and I got a patch on the back of it there. I'm going to weld this in, cut it here on top, and get this all flat so it'll look good from underneath. And of course it'll plug up all of the stuff I got here in drop off. Well, I knocked some of the heavier stuff out with a grinder. So this is pretty much all good as I'm going to get it here. And I'm just going to spray some of this primer on it. This rust performer stuff. Just protect it a little bit. The glass on the front of my camera was really broke up, so I just removed it. So I got a good camera now. It'll get dirt in it. I'll have to put a piece of tape over it or something until I get my lens. And squirted it. Looks all right. At least it's got some kind of coating over it and it won't rust again. Now I'll have to crawl under here in the back and I'll see if I can. If you can see what's going on there, but I need to weld this up and throw a little paint on it too. Now it's got some undercoat on it over top of that primer, a rust stop. I think that fixed it good enough. Looks pretty good to me. Now I'll go ahead and start putting this fender on. Kind of bolted my little valance up here to see what kind of shape we had. And it looks like it's about 1/8 of an inch off. And this will flex a little bit. I might be able to bend in the valance a little, but this is where the old fender was. So I'm going to go with just welding it in right there. And when I come time to put this together, I'll either have to build up this fender a little bit or modify that valance a little bit to make this a good fit. But I bolted it down good and tight here, so not a lot I can do about it. I got that second panel on about where it's supposed to go. I need to zip cut it right there on top in the middle so it'll go in a little bit more. I can see that there was quite a bit bigger flare originally than what was on the car. So I'll have to make that out of Bondo. Not sure exactly what I'll do there, whether I'll cut that and move it out or what, but I've got the fender about where it's supposed to go, and I'll have to clamp that lip there on the bottom into the plate I made. I'll weld it. First thing is going to be just getting this pushed in a little. I overlapped it just a bit there and need to get rid of that. My little air zip cut gun or tool will cut a fine groove so I won't have to use my big Makita there. Here was quite a bit of welding. I had to tweak that fender around to get it to match that piece. It was off about 1/4 of an inch. But I've got this pretty much welded up, probably 80%. I got all this bottom welded across there, and that's straight. I've got this back where it looks pretty good. I welded in this little brace piece here, and I'm gonna cut off this little tab. My valance goes up in there. So this is pretty good. It's straight across the bottom, reasonably so. And see some daylight in here where I don't have it welded up. I got to put another patch down there in the bottom. It pretty much took me about half a day to get this in, but looking at it from a little bit of a distance, it's got a nice curve and everything to it, and it's good and solid. It's not moving anywhere. Got no oil can or anything in it. Looks like this inside piece here could come out a little bit, but I still need to get it all ground off, and it's not really all that bad at all compared to the inch of Bondo that was on it before. You can see on that one, a good half inch, and this is the good side. And I don't know if I can weld it in there or not. I may determine where this brace is in here and drill it and just put a few spot welds right in here. But it's awfully strong. Maybe I'll do something like that, maybe I won't. But it pretty good lick for today. Well, my back hurt from squatting, so I decided I'd move on to the other side. I'll get that stuff welded up later. I wire brushed that good. Put some rust converter on this, all this stuff under here. That made it look pretty good. And now I'm gonna take the Bondo off. I got this marked with a line where it goes, and I'm gonna heat it up with a torch and scrape the Bondo off so I can cut it so I don't get dust everywhere. I think my bottom piece here will be good, but I'll know more when I get the metal showing. This side was actually in pretty good shape. Quite a bit of rust in the bottom there, dirt and stuff, but drain holes are good, which reminds me I need to cut a couple drain holes in the other one over there. It looks like they patched this fender. They put a plate right over it. You can see where it goes up to about here somewhere, and it's going all the way up into around this top part. So I need to cut that plate off there, see what they did. I don't know what's going to happen on this inside lip here, but I'll just put the new fender on and we'll use that lip. So now I'll cut this piece off here and see what it looks like. Well, this piece looks like it might have been welded on the inside. This piece is original, but you can see where it curves right there. I can't really tell, but it don't go all the way out to the fender lip, and this bottom this looks like it's part of the original fender here. I think what they did was put a piece on the inside. Yeah, it's I can see it flexing down in there. Yeah, that's what they did. This is just an inside piece they welded on the inside of the car, and then raised this piece over the outside. So this section here is actually the original fender. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this back up here, try to get this piece out and see what that wheelhouse looks like. That's what they did. And then they put a bunch of silicone in here. I can see that this is probably the original fender lip right here. And none of this is, I don't know if it's welded. That's probably welded right there. This little piece is junk. I'll blow that out a little, see what it looks like. That's welded in there. This is part of the original fender. I can kind of feel the edge here. Of course, I got a inch wide piece of rubber in there. Looks like they tried to save part of that original fender. And this lip here, it don't look like it's welded in very good. I think they squirted it full of, yeah, Bondo and that rubber. So I'll have to rebuild this whole wheel arch. I'm not sure how much it's going to have to come out. Looks like about 3/8 of an inch up there to get the lip. But I don't have this. I'll have to rebuild it. But I will be able to put in this piece here. My patch panel's got like a 2-inch, 1.5-inch lip on it. This original one only had, even down there at the bottom, maybe 1.25 inches. But this place right here is gonna let me set where my the edge of my fender goes, and it will reach under there. So I'll probably clean this up and try to weld it to this edge here. I'm not sure exactly how I'll do it, but at least I can see what's going on. And I'll clean this wheelhouse up and all this stuff in here. Prime it good and undercoat it before I go welding this fender patch on. I think it'll be good there in the back. The mount for the valence is good. I haven't disturbed any of that. So this just be a fairly simple matter of putting that skin on. Whether I can put it on in one piece or not, I don't know. I think I can. I think what I'll do is put it on here where I think it goes, line up this bottom piece here, tack weld it, mark it in here where I cut it off, and probably make a little straighter cut there. and then cut my new fender up here to where it fits, and then start working from there. Well, I'm not gonna need that outside lip right here, so I cut it off, and the way I put the other one on, I use this flat spot here right up against the bottom. So when I try to put this fender on it, this section here is what's keeping me out from putting that in there. So this all looks pretty bad anyway, so I'm gonna cut this whole section out right here and get rid of this, so I can set my body panel up in there against that vertical surface, and that should get it aligned the same as the other one from side to side. I clamped it there on the bottom, and you can see that it's lining up pretty good here as far as the edge of the fender. Of course, it came forward a long ways, but the back is about where it should be. It should be tilted up, and if I look down inside there, I'm still hitting a little bit right here in this corner. It looks like if I take this cut it off at the bottom curve there, that's gonna let me move this thing around some. Right where that rusty piece is starting to curve up, I got about an inch of metal there. Probably be good enough. I got the inside cut out so it goes on good, and this is approximately where it goes. I just put a couple little tacks in it. I'm going to try to mark it down there in the bottom and see what I got to do. I know I have to fix part of that, but at least the panel's end looks straight, and that's about where it's supposed to go. Decided to just cut this thing out of here. It was too rusted up, and so I just cut it out. I put a flat piece in, and then I'll use another piece here for this bottom, probably a piece of the bottom of the fender that I cut off. I think that'll be pretty good. But I welded that in. It's pretty good. Yeah, I got the floor welded in pretty good. I preserved my water drain hole there. It's a pretty nasty weld, but I had a gap in there, and the bottom, the edge will be good and straight. I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to test fit my fender on there and see whether maybe I can need to add a little piece on here or what to make it to the fender. And then I'm going to wire brush this off real good and prime it and squirt some undercoat on it, and then I can put this fender back on here. Welded me a plate up in there, and you can see it's a 1/4 inch off, so I need to bend that out quite a bit, and but the bottom here looks real good. So sand it up. I need to fix this a little bit right there, but looks like the fender's gonna fit pretty well. I just have to bend this out to match the fender. This is what it looks like inside. I've got this bent quite a bit. It's welded up good and solid. I don't want to put any undercoat on it until I get through here. And I got most of that rust knocked off there, not all of it. Well, I Rust-Oleum'd it and put a coat of this spray undercoat on it. I think it looks pretty good and it'll protect it well. I've got that lip bent out. I'll need a couple small patches on the bottom, but I'm about ready to cut this thing off of here and start tacking this fender in. Well, it's on and pretty much welded up, but it looks like it's coming out a little. I could look down it and see that the fender is actually sticking out past the top part, and this one, it's going in. So it just looks like it's needs to go over here in the bottom. I didn't weld it real good on the bottom. I think I'll crawl under there and cut those and see if I can get this turned in a little bit. I cut it loose on the bottom and it popped out 2 or 3 inches. What had happened, I just went too fast on this, got it too hot, and it wanted to kink the panel out, and so all I did really, once I got it loose, I just pounded on this weld here, pounded it out, and now you can see that it's you can feel it. It's a fairly nice smooth curve there going back in. And once I got it pounded, then I re-welded it there on the bottom. So, moral to the story, don't go too fast with your welds. I thought I was going slow, but not slow enough apparently. Anyway, I got a little trimming to do right here, and a little more on the bottom, but as far as this thing goes, looks like the patch panel's real good, straight. I got a pretty good gap right here. Oh, I haven't even tried to weld it yet, but I'll get that all welded up, and they both look about the same now. This one's curving in pretty tight. Yeah, it looks like the front is still kind of going out towards the fender curve. This one's going straight. Well, I may May need some more welds. It's hitting that fender brace in there. Well, I'm not gonna really worry about it right now. I'm gonna clean up my mess and call it a day. At least the inside's all done and both fenders are on. I'll make a little video of that, so please like and subscribe. In next video I'll be doing the final tuning on this and pressing on towards paint.